Poor me, I have diabetes. Poor me, I'm getting bullied. Poor me, I'm short and no girls want to talk to me. Guess what? Nobody fucking cares. Do you know why? The most important, fundamental, universal rule in life is focusing on the things that you can control. There are two things. There are things that are outside of your control and there are things that are in your control. You don't control the weather. You don't control other people's opinion about you. You don't control society. You don't control the traffic on the road. There's only one thing and one thing only you control, and that is you. Your will, your intentions, your thoughts, and your actions. So the Stoic wise man understands that it is in his complete moral responsibility to take control of their own lives. Everything else is an indifference to them. So it doesn't mean that you don't care about other people in the world, but it's an indifference because it's outside of your control. So many people want to change the world, they want to affect millions of people, yet they don't understand the one simple fundamental rule that those people are outside of their control. They only control themselves, and that's all you have to focus on. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Worry about today and do your duty and purpose as a human being. So this is why true Stoic philosophers have liberated themselves from fear. They're not afraid of death. They're not afraid of pain. They're not afraid of obstacles and hardships that come their way. They actually welcome them because they know it's gonna turn their character into one full of virtue, not one of vice. They believe if moral virtue is accessible to one man being Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, then virtue is accessible to all men. This is very logical when you think about it. So if someone is capable of doing something, because they are a human being, that is accessible to us too because we are human beings as well. It's so simple, but we don't think about it like that. We always look at people and people who are great as different species in us, and we study them, and it's important to know what they do, but at the same time, you're also capable of being great as well. Why can't you put that in your head? So if virtue is enough, the Stoic wise man doesn't need sexual gratification, doesn't need instant pleasures, and does not even depend on their health for happiness, because even that can be outside of your control too. If an uncurable disease hits your body, are you gonna sit there, cry, and complain about your life? No, you're gonna make the most out of it and understand that this was outside of your control. It's normal for people to die. That's just the law of nature, and you're gonna go and do what you can for the rest of your life. So the Stoic is not afraid of apparent evils, but evils that can corrupt their own soul, which means they're not afraid of other people negatively influencing their life. They're afraid of themselves not meeting their own moral obligation because they try to be honorable people that fulfills their duty by examining the nature of the world. And nature is universal, which means that no matter where you are, whatever environment that you are in, you can exercise stoicism because nature is everywhere. So if you have someone who is a slave like Epictetus and someone else who is an emperor like Marcus Aurelius, those two people have proven to be Stoics regardless of their social status or their hierarchy in the social society. Because one of them was a slave and one of them was an emperor. They were both equal still as Stoics. You see how powerful this philosophy can be now? So by understanding what you can control, like your will, intentions, thoughts, and actions, you understand that you can be a Stoic and universal with nature no matter where you are in the world. So do you see why the Stoics don't complain? They don't victimize themselves? Because what's the point of crying and being emotional when it doesn't do anything for you except make your life worse? There are things that are outside of your control and things that are in your control. So what's the point of complaining about things that are outside of your control and getting emotional over it? So let's logically think about this. Let's break this down. So when you complain about how someone treats you, if someone bullies you, if someone shames you, should we really mute them and teach them how to behave properly? No, because there will always be meddling, malicious, and corrupt people in the world no matter what you do. So should we avoid them then? Should we not even deal with them? No, because that's like saying let's avoid obstacles and hardships. And by avoiding that, you're avoiding greatness. It takes obstacles and hardships to attain greatness. And people understand that. The Stoic wise man understands this. So instead of complaining and trying to mute the noise and vote for equality for everyone and teach people how to behave, don't you think it would be better to teach yourself how to overcome any obstacles or bad cards that are dealt in your life? Wouldn't that be a more logical approach? Imagine how much more courageous the world would be. But that's the problem. Too many people are complaining. Poor me, I have asthma. Poor me, I have diabetes. Poor me, I'm getting bullied. Poor me, I'm short and no girls want to talk to me. Guess what? Nobody fucking cares. Do you know why? because everyone shares some type of struggle. That's what it means to be human. That's what it means to be a stoic. You share struggle, you share problems, you share issues. Why do you get to complain over others? What makes you so entitled, so egotistical that you should get special treatment over other people? Just please answer that question logically. You can't, because everyone in the world is suffering their own battle. So you don't deserve special treatment no more than the person next to you. That is victimhood, and victims only bring themselves more negative, disgusting traits away from virtue. It brings upon envy, it brings resentment, it brings regret, it brings self-generating hate. It is the very center of vice and lack of character. And if you are a victim, I want you to know that you should be ashamed of yourself. But I still do have some empathy and feel bad for victims, because they're only making their lives worse by being victims. At the end of the day, victims suffer the most in the world, and I can only feel bad for them because they hate themselves so much that they feel the need to bring others down with them. That is such a sad thing, and whenever I see a victim and they expect me to return their negative energy back at them, I just choose to let it go because I know how miserable their lives are. And that is something that will help you get over that empathy. Having that empathy, saying, oh wow, your life is so miserable, you have the energy to hate on me, that will make you feel sad for them and bad for them more than hate them. So you may be thinking, why do people choose to be victims and focus on things outside of their control? It's an easy answer. Because it's the easier path to take in life. So the harder path to take, it's full of obstacles, it's full of hardships, responsibility, suffering, and it takes a whole lot of hard work and courage, most importantly, courage to walk that path. It doesn't take any courage to hide in your box and stay away from the world in your little shell and hate on people and victimize yourself. That is so easy to do. But in return for the harder path, you get one important thing. You get the dignity that you lived a meaningful life. So you can go ahead and choose the easier path in life. Just remember that it will bring on just more suffering, true suffering, as I would say, more resentment and more regret, and that is not a life that you want to live. Nobody will ever respect you, and even worse, you won't even respect yourself. Me just speaking in front of the camera like this to you probably makes you so mad that you would wish so many bad things upon me, and I feel bad for you for that. So for that reason, you should look at yourself clearly and ask yourself, how could you demand more of yourself? How could you stop being a victim? How could you unwire this brainwashing that society has done on you, that has made you soft, that has made you want to protect you from all these things that are supposed to make you stronger? And as parents, we do have a responsibility for this. We need to have the bravery and courage to let our kids outside to the world, because yeah, they may lose their bodies, but they may lose their soul staying inside the house. So as a mother, as a father, let your kids out, let them experience and let the world beat them down, because if you don't let that happen, then they're gonna suffer even more. If you wanna change your life for the better, then join me on my channel and subscribe to my content for self-improvement, stoicism, philosophy, virtue, and we will do this journey together. I will be posting twice a week, no matter what, no matter how scary it is, no matter how weak I sound in front of the camera, because I understand it takes looking like a fool in order to get better at something. So come join me on this beautiful journey on being a Stoic. Thank you for listening. Until next time.